really can't believe the amount of cars coming up Wonderland Road these days. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 right there, and I can't even see all of them. Oh, one turned. And we just barely made this light. Holy Christ, man. You know what kind of traffic you need to see to not make that light? And what I want to point out too is that that light there exists because of the amount of people that are cutting through. Before we get too far into the video, I live on Wonderland Road. My destination is the end of Wonderland Road. That pause there was on purpose. So we've got all these vehicles now that are heading up Wonderland Road. Looks like there's a SUV in front of this SUV that's got a blown out back window. Yep, you just got a trash bag holding everything together. Okay. So we're gonna pause this video until we get up to Ilderton Road. Sorry, I'm trying to drive.
Yeah.
We're slowed down now to 56 and an 80. And I fully expected somebody to turn, but nope. We just have one person that's leading this parade of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars. And that's the thing, like, you're coming up this way because you're trying to take a shortcut. I'm doing the air quotes, right? You're trying to get around things, but then you're doing slower than if you were on the highway or Hyde Park Road, which is the next one to our left, which is actually 10 kilometers an hour faster speed limit than what this road is. But you can see just what we're dealing with here. This whole parade of cars, I know that no one in front of me has any business being here. The asshole that's tailgating behind me, I know does have business. I know exactly where he's going to work, right? So you get to see these things, and when you have a photographic memory like I do, you tend to kind of recognize things, and it's not really even intentional a lot of times. It's just the way it is, you know. But I guess we'll keep the video going here on the dash cam. But you heard me say it already, the road to the left, the next road to our left that heads in the same direction as Wonderland Road is Hyde Park Road. It is completely straight, unlike the curves that we're heading into right now and the hills that we were just in, completely flat. In the wintertime is plowed. So notice that there's a guy up there right now that's turning. Actually, there might even be 2 that are turning. Yep, there's 1. So the one that was leading the parade got through the light. So that's awesome. Nope, they just turned right. Sorry. They just turned right. So what I was going to say, I'm trying to get back to this. Hyde Park Road is 10 kilometers an hour faster than this road. It is completely flat, completely straight, and it has one possible slowdown instead of 3 guaranteed stops. And in the wintertime, it's completely plowed, completely salted, religiously. And again, you have one possible stop compared to 3 guaranteed stops that you do on this one. We're gonna sit here for 2 minutes now. So all these cars are sitting here just for the pleasure of sitting here for 2 minutes. Now, the ones, if any of them turn right, the next road to our right is the highway. The highway is completely flat, completely straight. It is the only road in the wintertime that is plowed to that level. Has one possible slowdown compared to 3 guaranteed stops. Look at that back window. And it's a highway. So we just had 3 people turn towards the highway, and we had 1 person turn towards Hyde Park Road. Again, if that's your destination, why didn't you just go there in the first place? Why did you sit through 2 traffic lights at 2 minutes apiece and go down a slower road just for the pleasure of being slow. You know what I mean? Like, and we haven't even gotten into the accidents that this road has had. Whoop, where are you going? So he's gonna pass 5 cars? You don't know what's coming up over that hill, asshole. That's that same asshole that we see every morning. He was tailgating me this whole morning. I got some idiot behind me right now. He just passed a bunch of other cars. And we know this asshole because of all the stickers that he's got on the back. And I say asshole because he pulls moves like that. And he almost tried to run me into the ditch. And he also accelerated when I went to pass him one time. So if you're going to do moves like that, you're an asshole. I'm not just saying that for the sake of saying it. Yep, here goes this next asshole. Get all the hamsters working in there. Go ahead and pass 4 vehicles illegal in Ontario. At least he's got his signals on. So as you can see, we still got this group of 4 people in front of us, led by the Bell truck. And I thought the one that was in front of the Bell truck was the problem, but yeah, we have yet to do the speed limit, hence all the people trying to pass. Now, I'm going to remind again, I have to take this way. I have to sit through those lights. I have to go up Wonderland Road. I live on Wonderland Road. My destination is the end of Wonderland Road. Is that the SUV turning left up there? That is the SUV turning left up there. Okay, so this is just the way I go to work. I have to go to work, right? So I just want to count this out before we get too far. But again, remember what's on the left and right of us. Yeah, that's the SUV. So he saved a whole, 5 seconds for doing that. But if anybody turns left, they could have been on Hyde Park Road, which is 10 kilometers an hour faster than this road. Completely flat, completely straight, is safer, has 1 possible slowdown compared to 3 guaranteed stops, etc., etc., etc. These ones that are turning to the right, running the stop sign, by the way. I don't know what you're waiting for, but we could have gone twice, 3 times. The ones that are heading towards the highway could have been on the highway. Has 1 possible slowdown compared to 3 guaranteed stops. You know? But instead, they decided to go up Wonderland Road because everybody else was going up Wonderland Road, or whatever the irrational reason is. It's hard to rationalize irrational thoughts. But they decided to go up Wonderland Road, which is curvier, hillier, slower. In the wintertime is not plowed or salted, you know, and we haven't even talked about accidents. How many times did we see people in the ditch this year, or flipped over in the ditch? Look at the videos, they're up there. There was one major one, it was 3 cars. Again, no business being up here. I refuse to believe that everybody else had to take one. They were all living on Wonderland. That Mini is turning around. I told you that Mini had no business being up Wonderland Road. I told you. Like I said, I might be wrong one of these days, but it's not going to be today, and it's not going to be any day that ends in Y. I thought for a second there maybe that Mini did have to take this road, but nope. The only rationale I can come up with is every single person is using GPS, and the GPS for some reason is routing people up Wonderland Road. That's the only thing I can come up with. But then that would also mean that people shut off their brains and didn't consider anything. Right? They just basically let the computer do the work. So now we sit here and wait. Where they could have been on the highway, they would have just gotten into that merge lane and they would have been on Highway 7. Again, I have to take Wonderland. I live on Wonderland. My destination is the end of Wonderland. It's that simple.